Jeremy Valentine first in tonight. Hey man, good to see you. Great to see your name here. Thanks for stopping by. Coast to Coast getting ready to go live in about 4 minutes. It's going to be a fantastic show tonight. I can't wait to see this interview. Hey, make sure you hit the like and share button. Tell us where you guys are watching from so we can give you a little shout out. And as always, thank you to our friends over at Chopper Town for carrying the feed. Everybody at the Cycle Source family. Nancy Weems, good to see you here. All right, Coast to Coast going live, 3.5. Stick around. Amy Keene, how is it going? Michigan in the house. Hope you got tons of leather projects going on. Send us some pictures so we can put it up on the Source Media, Instagram and Facebook. Just south of Memphis, to a super top secret location, and saw one of the coolest stashes of old motorcycle parts and memorabilia and old bikes. What a great time. It showed me that motorcycle season is right around the corner, but for some of us it doesn't quit all year long. Going live here in 2 minutes. Get ready for a great show with Coast to Coast. Valdosta, Georgia. I know it's one in Valdosta. I got a buddy of mine that lives down there. It sounds like a good time to visit him, maybe. Just a minute. We're down to the 1 minute line. And you know, we're a little bit behind tonight, so I guess that means it's time we can get this one out of the barn and up on the racetrack and go live with this week's installment of Coast to Coast. Here we go.
There we are. Hey, we're 7 minutes early. What the heck? Anyway, welcome to Coast to Coast. Yeah, I can't wait. I know. It's Tuesday night, and welcome to Coast from the beautiful state of Hawaii, where it's 72 degrees. Oh my God. Anyway, sorry, you guys. I'm cold. Let's bring in Michael Lichter from Boulder, Colorado, and see how his weather is today.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, did I tell you?
It's been beautiful here in Colorado. A little colder than you got, but everything's great. No snow on the ground.
No, you didn't go.
Plenty in the mountains.
You didn't go skiing? Or you
of
didn't
course,
go
I've gone 3 times since I saw you last.
Oh my God.
I'm a maniac.
Okay,
I met a guy on the lift. I went up as a single, and the guy looks at me and he sees me with my phone out, and he goes, "You look like the kind of guy that's clocking your loops here." And I said, "You bet." And he says, "Me too." He says, "How we doing?" I said, 7 minutes 50 seconds. That's
Oh
round
my
trip.
God.
It was awesome.
Okay,
Just
so you didn't fall yet? Tell the truth.
I have not fallen yet. 17
What?
days of skiing and I haven't fallen yet. I'm not allowed to fall. So, but I did, I raised up. I got to, I should check. I think it was 46 miles an hour yesterday.
Oh my God, don't tell your wife. She's watching.
Hopefully.
Well, I
But
didn't go skiing, but I slipped in the mud again. It was about 20 miles an hour, I think, with a 40-pound dog pulling me down a
oh
hill.
no.
But other than that, I'm
What
good.
about surfing? How come you don't surf?
It's pretty big in the wintertime. I mean, I have surfed not for a while, I'll admit it. My son's been surfing, but it's something I should probably do again. It's something that if you don't do it a lot, you're so sore. I mean, your chest muscles are just like aching. Okay. Yeah, but I should get in the water. It's
So,
pretty nice.
pretty good week otherwise?
Yeah, just same old thing. It's just kind of like Groundhog Week,
I've been busy staying up too late every night, but trying to go to bed before 2 in the morning, but sometimes it gets away from you.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have to tell you, I went to bed at 9:30 last night.
Oh my God. I think I was sick. I was sick once and went to bed at 9:30.
Well, I get up early because I have a dog that starts crying about 6 o'clock. So I know, and then I don't go to sleep at 9 o'clock. I mean, I hang around, whatever, watching TV and stuff. But anyway, I'm so excited about this show. We had the pre-show with Kayla and Kayla Koeune, in case you don't know. And I didn't know her.
Great artist.
Oh my God, she is the coolest person.
And just
ever.
actually an all-around cool person. We should also welcome. We have a lot of regular watchers, viewers that come back every week, and I want to welcome them. But also for anybody that may be joining us for the first time and say, "What is this Coast to Coast?" Well, it's a show that Cris and I do once a week, and every Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, as you know. And we really focus on incredible women, basically women and motorcycling, and women with compelling, amazing stories, as our guest tonight will show you as well. So maybe that's a good way to introduce Kayla.
Yeah, let's bring Kayla in.
Let's bring her on.
Definitely. Hi, Kayla.
Hey, Kayla.
Hello, good evening.
But you're clearly not in your studio and not in your home shop because you are out of town.
Yeah, I'm currently in DC staying with a friend until tomorrow. So little outside this, like nice little vacation currently.
Wow.
Vacationing with a toddler, right?
Yeah.
I remember you said you have a toddler there.
Yeah.
What a great town. Yeah. What a great town. But Kayla, so maybe a lot of our guests may not know you. And actually, as Cris mentioned, she met Kayla in our pre-show for the first time. Now, I'm fortunate enough to live 15 miles away from Kayla when she's not traveling to DC. And I don't know if that's how I know her, but her husband was an electrician at my house a number of times. And so I've known him longer, which is Chopper Charlie Weasel. And Weisel, how do you say his name, Kayla?
It's Weisel.
Weisel, okay.
Yeah.
Charlie Weisel. And Chopper Charlie has amazing stories on his own, but that's for another show because today we're focusing on Kayla. But Kayla has been involved with motorcycles and art and riding incredibly and traveling around the world and blogging about her travels, all sorts of things. So I think we should start by you just telling us how you got started with motorcycles.
Definitely.
So I worked at this place called Bel Air Cantina, which is a Mexican restaurant in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And it was right around the corner from, at the time, Dave Cook's shop. And so Dave Cook, Ben Marks, Scott Johnson, he was the one that owned the bar. So I worked for him. And then Milwaukee Mike, who writes for Cycle Source, he did all the neons and stuff for that bar. And they took me for a motorcycle ride. And it started from there about a decade ago.
Wow. So then you started painting. So I'll go back up a little bit. Your background is art. You went to art school in Milwaukee, but you loved art your whole life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you started, well, you went to college. Talk about after you went to college, where did you go? What did you do after college? Because your story is more about than motorcycles too.
It's true.
So
After college, I was very broke. And actually my best friend who I'm staying with right now is in the Army. And she's like, well, if you join the Army, we each get $1,000 because I get $2,000 if I get you to sign up. So I joined the Army. 14 years later, I'm still in, neither here nor there. Went to basic training. About only a few months after that, I was deployed to Iraq. And then when I came back, kind of was invited to do motorcycle art with the Harley Museum. And then what got me into motorcycles, Kevin Bass commissioned to do a motorcycle painting. And that's kind of where it started, because I'm formerly trained in portraiture.
Wow. Yeah, we'll show some of your artwork too. We can when we get into the photos. But yeah, so
there's so many sides. There's so many sides to this story, aren't there, Cris?
I don't know where to start with her. It's like she's done so many things, you know. It's like the whole, you know, meeting Jesse Combs. So let's talk about your motorcycle riding. So you started riding and then painting pictures of bikes, and then I think this first picture, maybe this is one of your first bikes. I'm not sure. No, that's actually your last bike.
This is her newest bike, but let's show it. That first one. This is what she's riding now.
Beautiful bike.
Because my first one was a Honda Rebel.
Right, you said that. Yeah, we don't have the picture of that one.
No.
But this first one, I just love this bike, and it's got that cool frame. And I think it's Faith Forgotten Choppers frame. Do you have that first picture? There it is.
So yeah, the frame is by Faith Forgotten Choppers, and then Josh Allison fabricated everything else that you see on that bike.
Sheesh, it's beautiful.
And did he do that in Colorado, or Josh already moved to New York to be with American Choppers, with the tunnels?
So he started it in Colorado, and about halfway through that build, he's moved to New York for American Choppers. And so they finished it actually out in New York at their shop.
He's quite the fabricator. He's an amazing, talented guy, and he's built some great stuff. I'm sorry we lost him from Colorado. I miss him being here.
Yeah, it was definitely nice having him around the corner, because, you know, there's when your bike's being built, you're trying to look at pictures and be like, oh yeah, sure, the handlebars are a great spot. I don't know, I can't sit on it. So I did miss him, having him out here in Colorado.
Let's bring some more pictures up. If we could even start with the next one, number 2, which takes us to Norway, which I think that was when you did that trip and I heard you were going, I just thought that was so cool, because who ships, how many inches over is that chopper of Charlie's? About 30 inches?
Oh gosh.
Something like that. I just know the bike
shipping
in
a chopper like that over to
10'2".
Europe, you know, I mean, people go over to rent stock bikes, but not for you guys, right? Tell us about it.
So we decided we wanted to ride motorcycles through Europe, but we wanted to ride our own motorcycles. So we did a bunch of research, and we were able to get the motorcycles on the same container that we actually were on the same container ship. So we spent 11 days at sea with our bikes in a container, and then we're dropped off in Belgium. And then we spent 3 months riding through Europe. And I had my Dyna, and then Charlie had his chopper. Yeah.
What an amazing adventure that was. I don't even know where to start. I guess you went to the Alps. Where did you go?
Well, tell us more of the European trip. Which countries, and how much work did you have to do on the bikes to keep them running?
Charlie's actually did great in Europe. We ended up doing 16 countries. So we started in Antwerp is where we picked up the bikes, and we rolled down through France, up through Andorra, into Spain. And then on our way back up to France, I had an almost complete disaster with my bike. I went over a speed bump into a garage, and it knocked the oil plug crooked in my bike. So I was leaking about a quart of oil every 30 miles, and we were just adding oil and going and adding oil. And there was a
Wow.
time we were stopped at a gas station and I was like in tears because I was terrified to get on my bike. My whole back wheel was soaked in oil. And Charlie's like, oh, you've been through worse. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Well, we finally got to this shop in France called the MHC shop. And he actually knew Kevin Bass and he welded the whole thing shut. But after everything was said and done and we were safe at a hotel, and Charlie's like, you know what, I was really worried. I would have had you ride my bike, but you can't ride that bike. And I saw your back wheel and I was pretending that you were okay. And I'm like, oh, great, thanks.
Oh my God, you can't trust him again. That's it. Oh my
No,
God.
not again. So that was
Yeah.
about the biggest issue we ran out into there. Otherwise, the bikes did great.
Is there any story that really stands out as being like just super fun that even right now in telling it, you're going to have to give a big smile and enjoy telling us?
Honestly, it was meeting all of the people in Italy. So we met this chopper club in northern Italy, and we met up with them, and they all had long bikes. So these are the guys that Charlie styled his bike after when he was looking at motorcycles to build his long bike. And so we rode down to Italy, and it was just this, it was this chopper party, but it was in the middle of the woods. So we didn't expect much of it, but they made a full pasta dinner for everyone at that show. Instead of, they were playing like American music, like AC/DC cover band by Italians, and it was all vintage American motorcycles. But instead of like beer kegs, they were drinking wine in the middle of the woods. So they had glasses of wine in the
Italian
woods,
style.
and it was up by Vicenza or Venice. Or sorry, Florence.
Florence, to the
Wrong
left
place.
there. There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. So it was just north of Florence.
Up in
And it was probably
Tuscany, you
the
can't beat
coolest
that.
party I've ever been in. Yeah, it was so awesome.
Well, I'll tell you, I think one of the most fun parties I ever went to was in Italy, and kind of similar circumstances, that they just know how to do it. They live life so full and they're so passionate, aren't they?
Yeah.
But one thing I'm wondering is, maybe was this some inspiration for the Marinara run?
There you go.
I hear a little connection here, maybe.
It was the thing that inspired the run that we do in Colorado called the Marinara Mountain Run. So we had so much fun, and we just loved the sense of family and community, and that everyone was just kind of, I don't know, the whole party sat down at the same time, had dinner together, and then went back to partying. And it was just really cool.
And the food,
cool.
Okay, the pasta. I'm telling you, some of the best food I ever had was in Italy.
Perfect. Now, since we'll get back to history, but just on that Marinara run, since it was mentioned, this is a run you do every late August, early September. And just so the people listening in know, is this something by invitation or is it something open to the public?
So it's completely open to the public. We've been doing it every other year, just because that seems to be the way it worked out. So this year, we still have to schedule the dates. With COVID last year and things still lingering, we've kind of been waiting on figuring it out. So, but it's definitely an open invite. We usually post it on social media and a lot of word of mouth. So,
And where is this at?
usually we do it at a campground in Grant, Colorado, which is up in the mountains.
It's a beautiful area up Highway 287 there. It's just awesome.
Beautiful.
Wow, that's great. Okay, put my name on it. I'm coming. Let's get back to your history. So we have that trip to Europe, and that sounds like it was an amazing time. I believe 6 months, you said?
Wow.
Or 4 months? 4 months.
That's a dream come true. Shoot.
Wow.
Is that the same time you went to India too, or is that a different trip? When you did India?
We went to India not about a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay. Different trip.
We did that one on Himalaya or on Royal Enfields.
I think maybe even 2018, because you went before I did.
Yeah, that's right. I'm trying to date it. If it's 20, no, it was
India,
2019, September 2019.
Was it the same trip that you did, Mike? Did you go up the riverbeds and all that stuff?
Well, it is the same in sense that we did mountain passes and all this great stuff, but we were in Nepal actually climbing the Himalayas, and Kayla was doing it out of Manali, which in the foothills of the Himalayas on the Indian side of the border, correct?
Yeah, correct. So we were supposed to go north over Cardin Law, which is the highest road in the world. But we got snowed in Kaza for 4 days. So we had avalanches behind us, and the passes in front of us were snowed in. So we were stuck in Kaza for 4 days, and we couldn't get over the mountains. They couldn't get them cleared. So our only option was to backtrack and ride over the landslides, which for me was a whole different experience because I didn't up until that point have a lot of experience off-road, and I learned quick.
Yeah, but you also prepared for that. Didn't you buy an off-road bike or some sort of a dual sport bike to get ready for the trip?
Yeah, I got a Africa Twin, and I took it up into the mountains of Colorado and did a bunch of fire roads. But it definitely didn't prepare me for landslides. But I had fun learning.
Well, I'll tell you, your trip cost me a lot of money. So it really did. Because you went in September and you got snowed in for 5 days, and I'm going in the end of November to Nepal, and I'm thinking, if she got snowed in India in September, what's going to happen to us, right? So I went out. I mean, I had like all this incredible gear that I'd never owned in my life. So you cost me a whole bunch of money.
So what is the difference in the elevation from the two rides that you guys did? Who was up higher elevation?
We ended our elevation at about 15,600 feet was the highest we got, but we should have gone a few thousand feet more.
I was going to say, yeah. Right.
And I think ours was 18,000 actually.
Oh my God. No. You'd have to, I wouldn't do it. It would kill me. I can't do that elevation. I can't even go up to Estes Park, dude. I go up 10,000 feet. I'm like, I will feel good. Okay.
I got to plug my friend Bear Houghton on this because he was he's the lead with a partner from India that puts these trips together, and he's with Motorcycle Sherpa. They put wonderful trips together, and I've gone twice now to Nepal, and I can't wait to go when things open up, and I'm going back for more because I absolutely love it. Would you like to go back again also, Kayla?
Yeah, definitely. We want to give it a second go and maybe get to that highest road in the world like that. I know that's Charlie's check on a bucket list. So definitely we were talking about it, and I know we were going to try and do it last year, but alas, 2020 kind of changed everything.
Sure.
Michael, didn't you do it with
so much fun? There's such great tips. What was that?
I did. I went on one trip with my son Sean, and another trip was actually with a bunch of industry people, like Grant Peterson from Born Free, and 3 guys from Builtwell, and Mike from Lowbrow, and all these industry people, and Danger Dan, who does a wonderful weekly podcast also. He was on that trip. We had a blast. I mean, I love traveling. I love traveling anywhere and traveling on a bike. So to put those interests together, I think you probably feel similar, Kayla, that if you love to travel and you love motorcycles, it's like, wow, what a great plan.
Man.
And it's so great because, sorry. I was going to say another great thing about those trips is they really can accommodate to any riding style, because by the end of the day, everyone's riding at their own pace. People who like to stop in, take photos a lot, happen to be in the back, and people who just want to ride the heck out of the roads end up being in the front, and you stop a lot, and you're really not doing a lot of mileage because it's difficult miles. So it's really like, I don't know, they're pretty great trips. I had a lot of fun.
Nice. That's nice to know. I didn't know you could go at your own pace. I thought everybody had to kind of stay in a group, because the pictures I saw, people weren't that spread out. Really.
Kayla, did they have the spotters, like they'd leave one of the riders behind to mark a corner? Did they do that for you as well?
Yeah, they definitely left someone behind to make sure like everyone knew where the turn was. So that's why you couldn't be spread out. And then when the group that maybe was in the back would catch up, they would just kind of catch up to whatever group that they were in front of. So it worked out really nice that way, where you didn't feel like, oh, I've got to stay with the group. No, you can kind of do your own jam, but be within reason, because you do stop a lot. So
it'd be like a half hour apart or even more, where people stop for pictures or take a leak or whatever. But, I actually think the way Bear's come up with this, I haven't seen it in this country quite the same, because there's a guy up front who knows where he's going, and he's one of the locals there. And so he's leading us. But then the person behind that lead rider is one of the people on the trip. And if you're that lead rider, you got to be prepared to be a marker. So the guide will point to a corner, because there's like a turn coming on, and he'll point down, and that person behind him has to stop and park there and wave to everybody to make that turn. And then after everybody's gone and the sweep comes up, he's able to come in. What's fun is some of the riders are really good riders, and they actually like that position because they get to race. I mean, they sit for a half hour and then they race to get to the front again. So they have a lot of fun. So it's really great for everybody.
We have a question from Brian Pelletier. How did you get the bikes to run?
Pelletier.
Okay, I'm saying the French way. Sorry, Pelletier. How did you get the bikes to run at those altitudes? It's probably because that's where they're tuned, right?
They were born there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not their bikes. You didn't bring your own bikes up there. Those are bikes.
No. We used Royal Enfields, which I mean, Royal Enfield is the bike of India. So
even though I would love to see that chopper making those corners, okay?
Oh my God, some of the things. Jeez,
can you imagine?
Anyway, there were some pretty steep inclines.
Don't tempt him. He'll definitely try it. He's adamant about I can get that bike anywhere you want me to put it.
Absolutely. Yeah, can we bring a few more pictures up? Because I want to get to your art also. We'll get back to traveling because I know there's a lot of that coming up in your life.
Yeah.
But let's if we come back to picture number 3, 4, 5. That's great. This is in Denver at a local art show. Love Thy Chopper. Wasn't that wonderful?
Oh, that was a lot of fun because it's, I feel like sometimes you're always on the road traveling and, I go to California a lot, Milwaukee a lot. So having a show where I actually get to spend some time with like local people and friends, it's really nice. So that was a really cool show. It's always so laid back and it's just, a good vibe.
Weren't you, was it a raffle or you did something on these?
Yeah, so I did a couple of raffles this year during COVID and I raffled those off and it was really awesome. I was really excited to see them go out to where they did. And so a woman in Oregon won these 3. So she won the whole set.
Oh my God, a whole set. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
nice.
Kind of did a big one with those. And I was really, really excited to kind of see them have a home, although my husband was not happy to no longer see them on the walls.
Let's talk about Jesse Combs. Here we are. There's a book you guys did.
This is an amazing story here.
Talk about how you met Jesse and then go on from there. And then you ended up doing this book together.
Okay. So Jesse and I met at the Love Ride in Northern California in 2014, I want to say, give or take 6 months. I don't know. So in 2014, I was kind of just there. I just moved out to California. I was there meeting a friend and I bumped into Jesse and we were introduced to each other. And the same day she was like, well, you want to come down to my shop? And I said, sure. And we rode back to Long Beach, ended up staying at her shop for about 4 days and then ended up becoming her roommate for a year. And in that time, we worked on a lot of fun things together. And I would say the part that really came to fruition was that book. Which is about
I ordered a copy. I can't wait to read it. Joey and the Chopper Boys.
What age group is the book geared towards?
I think we geared it to, it's like 4 to 7 because it's enough like text content where you actually are going to have to read the story, but then still illustrated for a younger group. So it'd be a quick read for like a 6-year-old.
Very cool. And for any of our listeners that may not be aware, my co-host Cris has an amazing book that she did a few years ago. Just a few years ago. There was also a children's book that used her son for inspiration. Her son Pat, right, Cris?
Yeah, it was called Patrick Wants to Ride. I think he was 4 when I did the book. To be honest with you, Patrick is 30 now. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Patrick Wants to Ride. Patrick is 30 years old, and he did ride, but he never got his license because he screwed up the dates. He didn't go back in time, and I was like, okay, never mind.
So does Pat use that as a calling card when he goes out? Like, does he take the book and say, hey, this is me?
No, he doesn't.
No, it's not a good pickup line, huh?
He's into motorcycles and surfing. I mean, I'm sorry, children. He's got 3 kids. Two twins are 14 months old. A 4-year-old. He's into surfing and playing music and farming. Big time farmer.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Cool. Well, this next shot of you and Jesse together, I guess we just showed that. It was a great shot of the 2 of you.
Yeah,
and then that's amazing. That must have been harder for you than for many when we lost Jesse just a year ago. I can't even imagine what was going through your mind. Terrible loss.
Yeah, it was, well, it was a crazy, you always wanted to, I never got to go out and see a race on, race the American Eagle. But we always met in Milwaukee on that weekend, but it happened to be a perfect weekend to go for the land speed record. And so I was in Milwaukee where we first released that book. And so I was there selling books at the the Harley anniversary. And then my friend Hylaja, who was also really good friends with Jesse at the time, the three of us all lived in Long Beach, was there with me and kind of we're on our way in. And yeah, I found out with coffee in the morning. So it was a interesting weekend. And so it got postponed. So I had a weekend to digest because we had a lot of stuff going on all at the same time. But
sad time and such a loss. Such a loss.
Yeah.
We were surrounded by a lot of good people because Steve Elms was also out in Milwaukee with me, and he's now the director of the Jesse Combs Foundation. So we all happened to be a lot of close friends. We're all together in Milwaukee at the same time. So it was nice to have those people around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sad day for many of us, for sure. And I spent some time with her in Sturgis before all that stuff happened. And I know it was tough. Anyway, but
well, back to your story. If we go back to the pictures, I ran into you. I'm not sure what it says right there. 2016. I ran into you at the One Show. There's you and Charlie there.
Yeah,
that was a great show. But so it seems like what are the shows that you go to around the country? Can you tell us a few of the events that you attend and what you really love as well?
So I kind of always go to Sturgis every year, and but the ones that I really like to go to, I always try to make it out to the David Mann out in California, just because that one's so fun. It's in Ventura. I have family in Ventura, so it's always for me a really nice place to go visit. I get to see friends, family, and then it's always such a cool show that's outdoors. And then I like to go to the One Show. That one's fun because they always have it at a different venue, and Portland's kind of just kind of a funky.
Have you shown your own work there?
I did, I think 2 years ago and 4 years ago. It's all blurring into one these days.
Yeah, I think you did a helmet. I think you had a helmet there last year, I think.
Yeah.
The One Show, because that's the first time I got to go to that. It was really fun.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Almost a year ago now, right?
What other shows? Yeah. What about Daytona?
I've been to Daytona once, and so that was fun. I was a lot younger when I went to that one, so I would say it was a lot more fun. But I always go back to some of the events in Milwaukee. Like I'm usually there for the Harley anniversary, just because I'm usually showing at the Harley Museum. But yeah, other than that, like it's really, El Diablo is my favorite one, hands down. I will be there in about a month and a half. So that's
and also tell the viewers how you're getting there, because I think that's kind of fascinating too about you and Charlie and your trip to.
Yeah, so Charlie and I are going to meet at El Diablo. He's going to ride down to Cabo, and I'll ride down. I'm just going to ride down solo on my chopper. But that one's a pretty awesome event. It's one of my favorites.
Come on, listeners. That's pretty cool. Here's this young lady jumping on her chopper in Colorado to ride down to Mexico by herself.
I'll meet you there.
I think that's pretty cool.
Hey, why not?
I think that's awesome.
That's really cool.
But yeah.
So here's some more pictures of some national park trips that you guys have gotten around, man. I'll tell you what, you and Charlie haven't been together for that many years, right? Maybe about 8 years or something, I think you said.
7 years. 7 years.
Right.
Yeah, I think this summer we're going to try and hit off all the national parks, because we were supposed to ride down to Tierra del Fuego and back, and we were supposed to leave in December, but obviously 2020 with the border crossings being so crazy, we decided we're going to postpone it until it makes sense. So we're just going to do a stateside kickstands up as soon as the weather's right, and try and visit all the national parks this summer.
So it seems like you enjoy riding on your own more than going to events, would you say? Or
Yeah, I'd say that because I don't know, I like backpacking and hiking. So the goal this summer is to ride to the national parks and then backpack in for a couple of days, camp at high altitudes, and then, do or wherever and go back down. So I'm an outdoorsman lover. So I would say riding to a place where I can just be outdoors is probably
And you
my
take your paint kit with you, right? You have
yep.
like a little box that you take with on your bike.
Mhm.
It's so cool. And I don't have a picture of that in there somewhere, but
Yeah.
yeah, you were talking about how I just saw you set up on like a picnic table somewhere and just started painting. I mean, you get so much inspiration from nature, right? So it's
Hmm.
cool to have that stuff with you so you could
Yeah.
just bust it out, right?
Which bike are
Yeah.
you taking to South America when you go?
There she is on the
Right.
picnic table.
There
Lovely.
it is.
The
But yeah, I've
chopper in
got
the
an easel
background.
now that attaches to the back of my Africa Twin. So the Pelican case, my plein air easel goes inside the Pelican case. So I can pretty much set up my easel anywhere I can park my bike now. So pretty happy
That's so
about
cool.
that.
Is that what you're taking to South America, the African Twin?
Yeah, Charlie's going to take his chopper, but I'm taking suspension.
Well, and also your saddlebags with your paint kit, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I can't paint plein air or landscapes from a chopper, can I? Maybe.
No, you're set. You're all set. You got what you need. Let's show some more of
Yeah,
your paintings. I love this
awesome.
one from
That's
this
so
one's
cool.
also from the one show. I recognize
Yeah,
that, although it was taken after that first trip, or it was made from a
yeah.
photograph. That low
Yeah.
angle with the flag up there, I love that.
Yeah, the
Oh,
perspective is
thanks.
cool.
Do you do a lot of photography to get ready for your paintings
So
as
yeah,
source
I
material?
do. Yeah, I take a lot of photos because I like to work from photos in the studio. I like to do landscapes in person, but a lot of the motorcycle art I photograph. I wouldn't say like, I'm a photographer, but I definitely take photos to inform paintings is kind of, so I've got a large, um, like, I don't know, a large stock of photos that I use to inform the paintings.
Now that picture there, that last one was one that I took of one of my exhibitions that looks like 2017. So that I invited you as one of the artists to be in the show. And it looks great to see your work together like that.
I know
Thanks.
you did some other. Oh, that's cool. That must be
And
Charlie.
there's
So,
Charlie, yeah.
And then
yeah.
that is awesome. Look at the motion on that front wheel is really cool. So you do other stuff besides motorcycles. I know there was something at the Tiny Window Project. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah.
Did you finish it?
So I've done quite a few things. The tiny windows were like these little paintings of motorcycles and just kind of a lot of found images of paintings with people or just different bikes. I do an Art for Good project where I do donate a lot of the money to, I guess, environmental causes like planting trees and pulling plastics from the ocean. And so that's where a lot of my underwater paintings and landscape paintings, those all benefit to try and put
Nice.
more good out in the world. So,
And where could people get prints of your work? And you have a website that has all your stuff available on there?
yeah, I have infernoartstudio.com, as well as, I mean, these days with social media, I also have my Instagram, which is Kayla Koeune, my name, and all the links are in there as well. But yeah, my webpage, and it'll feed you back to my webpage.
Wow,
So
really good stuff.
you'll see everything from helmets to portraits. I do a lot of helmet art, is the majority of things these
Yeah,
days.
this next photo we have also is
Wow.
one of your helmets that you did for another one of my exhibitions. And
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, you're telling the story the other day that was your first helmet. Is that right?
Correct. This is the first helmet I ever painted. And I was so nervous because you asked me to do it and it was going in your show. And I was like, I don't know what to paint on a helmet. So my
I remember
quirky
you saying
side.
How
So
did
my
you get that idea
absolute
for the
quirky side came out.
what is it the pirate? Is it a pirate? How did you get that idea? Just out of the blue?
I don't know. Maybe I was watching too many pirate movies at the morning, but it's a kraken with a ship and some pirates. It was, I don't know,
Cool.
it was fun. Probably
Well, I remember
belongs
how
more in a
hesitant
kid's
you were
room.
when I invited you. You were very hesitant to accept, and I
Yeah.
kept saying, "I know you could do it." So, did I
Yeah.
create a helmet painting monster?
Yes. So between you and Jesse had pushed me for years, be like, just learn it. And I was like, I don't know. And then you came up and you're like, hey, paint this and just do it. And I was like,
Oh,
fine. And
that's cool.
gosh,
I love that one.
now I get two helmets are waiting for me when I get home. So it's become,
Wow.
I'm very glad you pushed me into it, Michael.
Anybody want your
picture,
helmet painted? Yeah, if anybody wants a helmet painted, we know where to go now.
really, Chris said, wow, or she expressed out loud on that last helmet, which I also was doing. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about it? Because that's got a lot more detail, a little different than some of your other helmets.
It's beautiful. Oh my God.
Yeah, so this one was commissioned by a woman, and she, I like this kind of commission because she's basically like, I like the color red, and then gosh, my brain, and then she just wanted that image of the Virgin Mary. So she's like, I want this, and I like red, and can you mix in rosary beads? And she gave me freedom of the colors. And so I always like when I get the freedom of the colors, because then I can kind of put my little twist on pops. And so it was a lot of fun, a lot of different detail, and definitely different from a lot of the stuff. I do a lot of florals, but I don't usually do solid print with all the straight or all the thin lines over it. And so it kind of changed the way I did a lot of the helmets after that, which is exciting.
Well, we just got a job offer for you. David Crum needs a flying eyeball in his tank. Are you interested?
Done
have
and
to go
done.
back and read these comments. Just got an offer. See, there you go. More work.
There you go.
When you get home.
Shoot me a message.
Do you have a form on your website, or they have to email you?
So if you scroll to the bottom of the main page, there is a fill-up form. If you go down, just contact me, put your information in there, and
say,
then I usually get back to you. Yep.
Really?
Say, commission a helmet. And I usually get messages that are like, hey, can you quote me a price? And so then I'll ask for a little bit more information, like what exactly are you looking for? And it we can start it from there.
I imagine a difference for a full face versus a half helmet and whatnot as well.
Yeah, exactly. If you want one
I'm
small
already
thing
thinking
painted
about a
on it, or
helmet.
you want the whole thing?
One thing about full face helmets is giving artists a lot more canvas to work with, hasn't it?
Definitely. Gosh, the Biltwell helmet is always one of the best canvases.
Sure.
For
That's
paint.
right.
Very
They're
cool.
fun to work on.
I wonder if we should take a little break here, Chris.
Sure. Let's take a break and we'll come back and ask Kayla about some more stuff that she's going to be doing. So here's a word from our sponsors. We got
Let's hear from Thanks Brothers, and we have a new sponsor this week, Dennis Kirk. So let's see what they have to say. We'll see you on the other side, Kayla.
See you in a bit.
Sounds good.
Ever since I was younger than Gavin, I knew that I wanted to ride. I'd see a group of bikes going down the highway with all their gear packed on, and I just thought that I definitely want to do that. That's what I want to do. My current bike is a 2016 Harley-Davidson Road Glide Ultra. I think it would be awesome when he's old enough to ride, I'd love to be able to go riding with him. He won't want to ride on the back forever. We just did an exhaust swap, slip-on exhaust swap.
My favorite part is when screwed both out, took them out. He did a test sound before that, and when it was all out, it was louder than it was before.
Oh, because we pulled the baffles out, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yep. I want to take people with me in my travels and stuff and show them the Midwest. Not just for the Midwest, but just to encourage people to get out there and explore. I'm Andrew, this is my son Gavin, and we are a Dennis Kirk family.
Hi, I'm Tom. I'm with Banks Brothers Motorcycles. One of the things I want to show you today is our new improved engine puller.
The changes to this machine has been in the arms and in the hands. We put heim joints in the hand to allow rotation of the engine, which makes it easier to get it in and out of the frame. With the angle change, we have equal clamping pressure on them. And over here we have what's called the posi lock, which allows this to be locked in place and the engine can't swing from side to side.
And we're going to show you just how easy it is to pull the motor out of the bike right now. George is actually going to come in, make contact with the cylinders, tighten it down, and he'll pull it out of there.
You lift it up, rotate it, and bring the assembly out of the frame. You see the motor starting to move. and it centers itself. This allows no side play once the motor's in place, and it keeps it safe. It can't fall out.
Visit BanksBrothersMotorcycles.com to order your Banks lift.
Wow. I have to tell you, I'm in love with that little kid in that Dennis Kirk commercial.
You just love those babies, any kind of kids, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Kind of, they're surrounded me right now. I just had to throw them out of the room. Anyway.
It's quite a story from Kayla, isn't it?
Oh my God, just amazing. I know. I want to ask more questions. So let's
she's got lots more stories. Let's get her back on here.
Definitely. What was it like riding up in the Himalayas? I can't even imagine doing those big boulder turns.
Man, it was fun and exciting and challenging all at the same time. Like on the Himalayan up in the, like, I feel like your legs always hanging off a cliff that has a 5,000 to 10,000 foot drop. And at some point you're not even noticing it anymore. You're just used to, oh, if I slip, I'm going to die. Like, I don't know.
Oh, how many people fell on that trip?
Oh.
Me?
Not off the cliff, but fell.
Just fell.
Just in general?
Yeah, laid their bikes down in one form or another.
I did 3 times. And it was mud that was up to the frame of my bike. And so one time my bike got stuck standing up. And there's 4 of us that needed to literally push it out of the pile that I was stuck in standing up. And then one was like, I was starting to get cocky because I was having much fun sliding all around on this mud that I got halfway through one, and then you felt the back do what you didn't want it to do, and you're like, oh no. And
here goes.
I was making like mud angels, laughing, having so much fun because you're like falling on feathers or I don't know, mud spawns.
So how many times did you fall, Mike?
Three times.
3? Really?
Yeah,
we're the same.
We had somebody that fell 5 times. So
perfect.
It goes with the territory, right?
You're not going that fast, right? So what are you talking?
Yeah, some guys are going at a pretty good clip. They fell, so it depends.
Oops,
there's some pretty good ones.
I figured if you weren't pushing yourself hard enough, if you didn't fall at some point on that trip.
Yeah, it just went with the territory.
Yeah, Charlie never fell, but he was coming around a switchback and a car was there, and his knee-jerk reaction was to go right. And if you don't know, India is the opposite side of the road. And so he got pinned in between the car and a cliff, and his handlebars went back and forth between the cliff and the car, all the way downside the car. And he got past them while they were swearing, and I don't know what they were saying to me, but it wasn't pleasant.
It's hard enough to ride up. It's hard enough to ride on the opposite side of the road. I did it in Australia, and the worst part was getting in a roundabout, trying to figure out which way to get out. You're like, oh, wait a minute, which way's which? Yeah.
Sean actually didn't fall on that trip, and I'll tell you, very few people didn't fall. It was the exception, not the rule, for sure.
I was going to ask you about Sean, but I didn't want to rub it in because I had a feeling maybe Sean didn't fall.
He didn't fall, and I'm proud of him.
Wow.
Right?
That's awesome.
And he was a pretty new rider then, wasn't he?
He better than their parents, right?
That's right. But he'd only been riding a year or two, right? He hadn't been riding that long before you went on that trip, I think.
No, but he takes everything so serious. So
yeah. Oh, okay. like you don't. That's true.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. So you know what? This kind of brings us to another thing because we're talking about travels, and this next picture was in Sturgis, number 22, but it's got a helmet on it, which I love this helmet, and it says, "Roads are for journeys." And why don't you tell us about Roads Are for Journeys? Because I think that's an outcome of all your travels and what travels to come.
Yeah. So we, Charlie and I wrote a book that we released 2 years ago called Roads Are for Journeys, Motorcycling Through Europe, where we kind of share the preparation as well as riding through Europe and just a lot of the stories that came along the way from both of our perspectives. And it kind of led into what we hope for the future. So we started this blog where we also have Charlie's been getting into photography, so he has like his photography prints that are going to be available through it. But mostly it's a website that we're sharing both our travels and the travels of others to try and inspire people to kind of get outdoors and go for a ride. So it's not, this blog isn't just, or not just, but is geared to more than motorcycles. So travelers and adventurers of all types. We have a couple of mountain climbers, a couple of skiers that write for us, a photojournalist that does a lot of stuff with classic cars and bushcraft. And so it's kind of, it's a blog about people who are getting outdoors and adventuring and just kind of doing different stuff to try and also inspire other people to get out there.
It's very cool. I think your artistry shows in there because it looks to me like it's a beautifully designed magazine just online. And I wonder if maybe in the back of your mind at some point, someday, maybe you could do a print form of it, because you do have guest journalists writing articles and photography and all their submissions. So it's quite varied. You're covering a lot of topics and beautifully done. Any thoughts on maybe going to print at some point?
So it would definitely be something down in the future, but what we were thinking about is just publishing a yearly book. So it would be like something that I was thinking and developing was there would be like 15 features, and it would just be like 10 page, like 10 or 15 large 10-page features of people doing some pretty big things and either telling their story by interviewing or having, as well as having writers write about their story along with their photos that they would be taking. So it's kind of almost like a shared content yearly publication is what we were hoping to do in the future with that.
But
So
there
it would
is a
be
book
our journey.
available on Amazon now, right? There is a book out
Yeah.
there. You just saw it. Okay, I thought so. What a cool
very
idea.
cool.
Well, you got so many things going on. Wow.
Unbelievable how much. And you're so young and you've accomplished so much. And now I can't even imagine going on this trip to all the way through South America, that what opportunities may open up to you. You know, I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not getting
Funny
me on
thing,
that.
I fell 2 seconds after this photo, Michael. That was one of my falls. Do you see that front wheel on the rock? That rock got me.
Yo. No, thank you. I like pavement. I'm just too old now. I don't know. I used to be more adventurous when I was your age too, probably. So
no,
definitely. Wow.
I'm still thinking your age, so I'm coming with you.
Yeah, he's still
Done
thinks
and
he
done.
doesn't.
Come on
He
with.
doesn't fall. He can ski. How many times in that fall? How many days?
It's
There's a
that
record
sort of
there.
invincible gene that we think we
Yeah.
have, right?
Yeah.
Right. So tell us more about the South America thing. So when is that going to happen this year?
It's hard to say, and I only say it's hard to say because it's going to depend upon the borders being more free to move around. So, you know, if we're not running the risk of being quarantined every time we cross a border crossing, as well as waiting for the world to recover a little economically, because, you know, you're traveling through, all the way to South America, and with the borders crossing, and, you know, it's just kind of hard to tell. So I would say when things start to level a little bit is when we'll put our kickstands up and go. And we're talking about taking a year to do it. So
Well, I was going to say that's going to take. So where are you planning on doing the whole? Is there a destination in mind? You're just going to go the big loop, come back around, go all the way to the bottom.
all the way to Tierra del Fuego and back. And we were thinking coast way down and through Brazil and back up is kind of the goal.
This brings up something I'm not sure you wanted to talk about or not, but I got to mention it because I am amazed by this fact that I knew Charlie as an electrician probably 15 years ago, and through riding, of course, and Kayla, I don't know when we met, maybe. Oh, you said I met you before you met Charlie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Correct.
It goes back a ways. But again, I keep commenting how much you've done and how young you are, but this just blows me away that Charlie kind of put his life on a certain track about 8 years ago, right before meeting Kayla and through meeting Kayla. And in the process of doing that is kind of built up being this freelance electrician to an electrical company with people working for him, and really focused on a goal. And that goal is going to be achieved next month. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that journey? Because I think our listeners will enjoy hearing it as much as I have.
Yeah. So I met Charlie 7 years ago, but 8 years ago, Charlie quit drinking. He had a lot of fun, too much fun, and something that was definitely affecting his life. So he made a big life change, and he's been sober now for 8 years. And so he made the goal 3 years ago that he wanted to retire, but wanted to do it in a way that we still had a income on the road. So he was able to, because in Boulder, he's an electrician in Boulder, he was able to build up his business, have a lot of crews working for him, and he was able to really capitalize on the fact that Boulder is a hotbed for high-end remodels. So he was able to do a lot of high-end remodels and really plug away. And next month he'll be retiring with rental properties that are pulling in an income, and which he started buying up about 3 years ago. And so he really set us into a comfortable position to kind of take off and live life and pursue other goals that we had. And so, you know, it's really awesome to see him go all this way. And then, you know, my contribution on the other side is, you know, our medical, we're self-employed. So medical insurance and all that stuff has been through military, as well as when I retire, I'll get the pension through there. So we've really set ourselves up for residual income that keeps us on the road. And so that's pretty exciting. And then meeting him, I sobered up, and I know probably the first time you met me, Mike, I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Let's be real. I've enjoyed the nightlife, as it were.
So you did, but I don't know if you did as much as Charlie did in the day.
I think
I did know Charlie in the day as well. So.
Well, I have to say,
Chris
you know, you
Koeune
guys
knew me back in the day, so I'm sure. Although you didn't know me then, there's evidence.
And you know, it's great. Work hard and play hard. You guys,
but is that an amazing story?
Living your lives so.
I know with these houses, I've been to their home, and they have done an amazing job remodeling it. I mean, it's just the perfect home, the way they did it. So I know they do wonderful work, and they did these rentals that they fixed up. So they've really set themselves up. But who could say, are you going to consider yourself retired, Kayla? I know you still have more time in the military, and you're going to continue painting, of course, regardless of what happens. But at what point can you retire from the military?
To get to the end of basically to get to 20, I have 6 years, but I'm in the Guard, so I consider myself semi-retired, I guess. Semi-retired.
Now, who could say that in their 30s? I mean,
oh my God, you guys! I know. I'm like,
yeah.
What could be wrong?
You know, but what's great about it is, you know, some people think of retirement. I met somebody yesterday, and he skied 90 days this year, and this is what the guy's doing. He's taking the year off, and he said he actually tried to retire at 42, and he'd every plan to, he had the money, but then he came home and he told his wife about these plans that he figures they could retire. And she said, well, what do you want to do? And he said, I want to do all the things I've always wanted to do. I want to go helicopter skiing in Canada, and I want to travel to Asia, and I want to climb mountains, and I want to travel the world and see everything. And he said that it wasn't the best idea, that he talked a little too long, because finally he realized he had been talking for a while, and he said to his wife, what do you want to do? And she said, I want to have a condo in Arizona next to a pool. And 2 days later, she served divorce papers on him after 17 years. So I mention this only in that retirement means different things to different people.
Yeah.
And I know I'm a lot closer to retirement than you are, although you're retiring before me. But again, what does that mean, right? Because if I retire, I'm still going to take pictures. I'm still going to travel. I'm still going to probably exhibit. I'm still going to podcast or do all these things. So certain things you're going to do whether you're paid or not. And I think that's who you are. It sounds like very little will change.
Yeah, honestly, the only thing that's going to change is we're going to be traveling more. And that's pretty exciting because, you know, I'm never going to stop painting, and I'm not going to start writing, and I'm not going to stop finding projects to partake in or whatnot. But yeah, I think the only thing that's going to change is the label of, well, I don't have to do any of it, but I like to do it.
Nothing's going to change is where you pick up your mail.
Yeah.
'Cause you're gonna be gone all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. We have some
Wow,
other
that's so
pictures
cool.
we didn't get to. I love this picture of you, number 23, the big smile. That is such a great picture. You are living life large. I can just tell.
Oh, thanks.
Wow.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh,
And then that front end is so killer on that bike.
thanks. Josh just did an excellent job. I always wanted a little hardtail with a Springer front end, and that bike is a little fire rocket because it's fast and small. And even though I'm not a fast rider, but I guess my husband likes to get on my bike and see what it can do.
And I
Well,
think that day
no.
you were bringing it home to Josh to see, because Josh was a guest in Fort Collins that day you were there on the bike.
Yep.
Great.
So that's kind of neat.
So are you
Yeah, super
painting
cool.
bikes? You just do like art, like striping and stuff like that. You don't actually paint motorcycles.
So I do paint art on motorcycles. So like this
Right.
spring, I'm doing one where he's bringing it to like a formal painter, traditionally trained painter. He's getting the color or the primer, the candy and everything put on. I'll paint the art, and then it'll be brought back to them to do the clear. So I wouldn't say I do more of the intermediate or the like the technical painting, but I will do the
Right.
art on the top and then have it re-cleared. But yeah.
That's cool.
Very cool. You're going to have to go back and watch the show to just look at all the comments. A lot of people have commented about your art. And at this
thanks.
moment, I wouldn't mind thanking of a few of our regulars. We get Jimmy Bradley from Milwaukee. Nancy Keener seems to come on every week. David Crum from Jersey. Tim Kearns from Pittsburgh. Multi-Moose from Pittsburgh. Mike Draco. And I have some more. Kenny Sweeney from Southern Indiana. Bill Krause. Kerry Patchett. And Mike Podger from Prince Edward Island. I got to come up and visit you up there, Mike.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And Walt Lumpkin again from Georgia. He's a regular. Phil Dunster from New Zealand. And then there's a couple of comments. I just have to point this out. Now, I know we don't get into politics here, but this one thing I have to mention because this person wrote, and I don't know which channel he wrote in from because I can't reply to it. And I'd love to know where he is, because I can't really pronounce his name, Kantusain or something. And he just wants us all to think about them in Myanmar and what's going on there with the military coup that put, unfortunately, Aung San Suu, how do you say her name? Aung San, how do you say it, Chris? Aung San Suu or something. The president there, the woman that was now in custody in prison. So anyway, thoughts go out to them. And then there was one comment also for you from our friend here. Let me see.
And someone wants to know your favorite bike.
From Maryland. No, not Maryland. It was, what was it, Chris?
Holly Perry would like, my friend Holly, hi Holly from Utah, wants to know your favorite bike. Probably the one you're riding, huh?
It's it's a tough call. Favorite
That
bike
Africa Twin looks pretty
aesthetically
fun,
that
too.
my favorite bike that I don't actually own and probably never will would be a Knucklehead. They've always been my favorite. They're beautiful. That classic, beautiful motorcycle. My favorite to ride, it depends upon the day. Sometimes I like my chopper. Sometimes I like my Africa Twin. It's a 50-50. I like that I have two bikes that do completely different things and have two completely different styles of enjoying them. So
Good
that's
answer.
my
And
political
for an
answer
artist,
to those
that's
bikes.
a perfect answer because the Knucklehead is the most beautiful motor ever, I think.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's a favorite of all of ours, anyone especially connected to the Cannonball. Marjorie Kleiman, our good friend who also works with the Cannonball Chronicles on Wednesday night, she has a message to you, and she said, I'm so excited to see you on the show. Thanks so much for the amazing custom paint work you did on my helmet. I wish I could post photos so everyone watching could see how stunning your artwork is. That's quite the compliment.
Oh, thanks, Marjorie. That's all. I'm blushing.
So cool. I know. I got to think about my helmet design now.
Happy customer. Happy customer.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hers was so much
cool.
fun to work on and so different from the stuff that I usually do. The 70s cartoons was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Wow.
you have such a style. It is kind of it's just different, you know. It is a little cartoony some of it, but then you have your portrait stuff that's just totally different. So you can do it all. Yeah.
I always say I love the exploration of art. So it's always hard to say, like, you know, people always say, well, you seem confused because an artist's supposed to have a thing or, you know, one subject matter or one way of going about it. But I just have always loved the exploration of art. And that's kind of where I stand on it these days.
So
That's
what's
awesome.
next for you in the art world? Any projects coming up that we need to know about?
Oh, I have one that I'm
Can you talk
really
about?
excited to work on. So Royal Enfield in Milwaukee, their flagship store there. We just solidified everything and signed the contracts 2 days ago. I'll be doing a 12 series painting. Each painting representing a decade of Royal Enfield making motorcycles because they're celebrating 120 years. And their historians started getting me the photos that I get to work from, and I am just floored, excited about working on that project.
That is super cool.
That's amazing. What an acknowledgement. That is, and the
so
most
flattered.
wonderful part is every one of these accomplishments will lead to 5 more. You know, that it's just more connections that happen.
Doors open, other doors will open. Yeah.
Every painting, every helmet, every trip you take is going to lead somewhere great. So you have so much ahead of you. It's wonderful.
Congratulations on
That's
that.
really
That
great.
score.
Thanks.
Yeah. Great.
Appreciate
Well,
Wow.
thank you. I can't thank you enough for joining us. It's just been such, I don't even want to stop talking to you, but I know we have to go pretty soon. But
So is
So
your next birthday going to be in South America?
Fingers crossed.
yeah.
What's
Well,
that?
Yes.
It
Fingers
is?
crossed. I hope so.
I've
I
been
think
to
it
2 of
should
your
be.
birthday parties. Am I getting an invitation to this next one?
We just had it last month, but you know, when I get home, you can always come over for dinner anytime. You still have to, your wife still has to show me her shepherd's pie recipe for the dish you got me.
Okay,
Oh,
there you
nice.
go.
Well, you'll have to come back on the show and tell us all about your other adventures.
Oh
when
my
you get back
goodness,
to South
yeah.
America. We got to have you back.
I
Definitely.
can't wait to hear the stories from South America. That's going to be so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't forget.
Very
Don't forget to
excited.
check in with us. All right.
Will
Well, you
do.
take care. Thank you
Yeah,
so
you
much
too. Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thanks.
Okay.
Enjoy the rest of your trip,
Bye.
and I'll see you back in Colorado sometime.
Sounds good, Mike.
All right.
Great,
Bye-bye.
great to meet you.
Bye.
See you later, Kayla. Bye. Oh my God. How cool.
You know, it's like I said in the beginning, you know, we're focused on women with compelling stories that they're storytellers. They've
Oh.
these amazing experiences to share, and in Kayla's case, such a life ahead of her, right?
Well, we're so lucky we get to do this show, and I just want to thank everybody who joined us and who comes back every week, and tell your friends and come on again, and Chris and Heather and Cyclosource Media Group. And don't forget, tomorrow night is the Cannonball Show, Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't know who they're going to have on, but I guest hosted last week. Was it last week, Rob? But and then Shop Talk is coming up Sunday night, 9 o'clock.
Always a good show on Shop Talk. Very informative and
Hey,
Yeah.
so
Great guest.
I'm kind of excited. I got to bust in to tell you this. They're having Paul d'Orleans on tomorrow night with Cannibal.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
yeah,
Very cool.
He's a great interview. He is. We've had him on
Oh,
Chop
yeah.
Talk before, so that'll be a fun show.
Excellent.
Cool.
Excellent.
No,
Cool.
all right. I have to
And
remember
really,
that.
thanks to all our listeners. I didn't mention Steve Broyles chimed in late, so I see he's on as well. He's been a regular, wonderful
Yeah.
builder out of Michigan. Wonderful, wonderful builder. And well, that's about it. We've
And who do we have for next week? Should we talk?
next week, yes, we have
Yeah.
another person off my cool list, Patricia or Trish Horseman, and I've known her for many years. She's also probably around Kayla's age, and another amazing, compelling story, a story around motorcycling. I knew her through Baker Drivetrain originally, but
Yeah.
she's also an artist that has been in my exhibition a number of times, actually going back quite a few years. She's been doing it for a long time. Tattoo artist.
Yeah.
She rides everywhere. She builds her own bike, and she's living it. She's just living large. So
Another incredible woman to add to
that's
our,
right.
our show. We're so
That's
lucky.
right. Add to
All
the
right.
collection.
Right on.
Okie
Well,
doke.
all right. Have a great week, everybody. And thank you. And there it is.
Back to the stable.
All right. I hope I do something exciting to report to you next week.
I
I'll
hope
try
so.
Maybe I'll go
Surfing on a longboard.
Oh, I have a longboard. I have a longboard.
Good. Use
All
it.
right. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a great
All
week.
right. See
See
you
y'all.
guys.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.